So I invite you now to just gently close your eyes as we enter into our time of meditation. Just allowing yourself to breathe and just to become comfortable wherever it is you are in this moment. Becoming comfortable in both body and mind. Let's just take a deep head to toe breath. And today we're going to focus on the power of release, the power of elimination. So I ask you now to bring your focus to your tailbone and to just imagine an amber-colored light residing there. Just witnessing it growing brighter and spiraling up and down your body, all the way from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, your crown chakra. Watching it begin to sparkle as it circles through your legs and into your feet and toes, up through your torso, through your chest and shoulders, your arms and hands, all the way up to your neck, and again up into your chakra, your crown chakra. Just releasing anything you may be holding that's interfering with your peace. And each time you exhale, just imagine whatever it is that isn't serving your highest good, just leaving the body. Making room to just breathe in this shimmering light of release into every cell and atom of your being. Breathing it into your memories and confident that it will do its perfect cleansing work to set you free. To set you free to live from your heart's desires and highest values and dreams. Allowing this light to help dissipate anything that remains there that you may still be holding on to that doesn't serve your highest good. And as we prepare to enter into our moment of silence, I ask you to hold on to this vision, letting that light just continue to move through your body as that whatever it is that you're holding on to that doesn't serve you just leaves your body and goes higher and higher, where it's dissolved into the sun as we enter into our moment of silence. as we bring our focus back to this time and in this space, we acknowledge that the God within each and every one of us now releases and erases from our consciousness all that limits our happiness and well-being. We now open to the activity of divine elimination, now releasing any false beliefs. We give thanks that everything standing in the way of our usefulness to the people in our lives and in our life itself to be removed. Allowing ourselves to focus on all that is beautiful, worthy, and worthwhile in this beautiful life, this beautiful experience that we are having. And we just breathe in this moment and just breathe in the peace that surrounds us, that peace that is who we are. And we affirm that all is well. And so it is. And so we allow it to be. Namaste. Talented people here at the Unity of Madison, that's for sure. Thank you, Kay. That's good. So there's a couple more thanks I wanted to give this morning. One is to Laura Schaffer, who donated this beautiful little tree here for us to use. So thank you, Laura, if you were tuning in this morning. And I also want to thank my wife, Mindy Wilkins, because she's really the one that took care of all the Christmas decorations. I kind of was just here while she did it. So. So thank you, Mindy, as well. And one other thing, talking about all the talent we have here, December 19th, I do have my dates right, I think. Yeah, December 19th is All Music Sunday. Now, Pete will be getting those videos together and coordinating that music. So if there is anyone else who would like to participate in that, and you have not already spoken with Pete, Pete would like those videos submitted by December 13th. So that deadline is coming. So if you haven't already contacted Pete, make sure that you do, and we will be able to include you in All Music Sunday. Again, if you saw the e-blast, I will get the holiday calendar out on a slide for us, but if you saw the e-blast, you will see that it's December 19th. It's going to be all on video, but the sanctuary will be open, so you are welcome to come in and attend that day, and we encourage it. Just because it's on video doesn't mean that we can't all sit together and watch that. So plan on doing that. Let's have a fun All Music Sunday. Let's dance. Last year it was just pretty much Pete, Mindy, and I in the sanctuary, and we were just in here dancing by ourselves, and that wasn't very much fun. So, but I'm going to go ahead and light the candles, and those of you who are more familiar with the order that these are lit, please forgive me if I don't light these the same way, and you can yell it out too. But today is our second Sunday of Advent, so we light our faith candle from last week, and we light our peace candle for this week. All right. So, peace. I think about peace, and, I think this is something that we should be. Now, look at that. See, and that was a new candle, and I lit it intentionally this morning before the service to make sure it would light well. Somebody out there blew it out. I know you did. Heather was the first one to laugh, so I think it might have been Heather. All right. Stay lit. All right. Now let me go back to where I was. Okay. So I think peace is something we should definitely be familiar with here at Unity, because this is the one word that we for sure mention every single week here at Unity. Does anybody know where? Yes, I'm glad y'all said that. It's at the end of our service. It's in our peace song. So I think about peace, and I ask myself, I'm like, what really is peace? And how do I know when I've truly found it or am experiencing it? Now keep in mind, of course I can pull up Google, or I can pull a Webster's dictionary off the shelf, and I do still have a real, actual Webster's dictionary on my shelf. I'm a writer, so, you got to have it. But I can look at the provided definition from the dictionary or Google, of what it is. But heck, I could do that for anything, right? Think about it. I could look up the definition of the color green. But is that truly going to describe what green even is? And isn't it really all subjective? Because how do we even know that we all see green the same exact way? Jennifer's got on a green shirt. How do I know that Lloyd's going to look at it and see it exactly the way that I see it? We just don't know that, right? There's no way to know. So let's circle back around to peace for a minute. How do we know that we all view it, define it, or experience it the same exact way? So our Advent booklet, and really any Unity booklet, it's a great example as to the differences in how we define some of these spiritual tools and how we define them on a spiritual level. It's a good example as to how they're defined on a spiritual level because this book is full of different ministers and different Unity teachers telling you how they see something. So here's an example from our Advent booklet for this coming Thursday, December 9th. It says, I hung my hammock from the old pear tree that summer. I will never forget the cool, welcoming fabric of that hammock as it gently swayed in rhythm with the summer breeze, nor the feel of the book I held in my hands. An upward gaze allowed me a moment to admire the old pear tree and the life still left within her. I'll never forget her display of new blossoms, nor the way in which she allowed her strong branches to provide the perfect combination of sun and shade to touch my skin. All I could think about within that moment was peace, pure, raw peace in its finest form. Eventually, the summer moved along to make space for the winter. My hammock was stored away, and the old pear tree shed her leaves. Yet one thing remained, peace. The summer, the hammock, and the old pear tree were merely reminders of the peace that forever resides within us, the peace that is available no matter the season. Now, I know that this minister knew what he was talking about then because that was me. That is how I describe peace personally. But see, not everybody might describe it that way, right? So let's talk about peace a little bit today. But I don't want to talk about it in such a way that we try to define it. I want to leave peace, whatever it is, up to you alone. But yet I want to talk about how we can pave the way for it, no matter how we view it. And not really just pave the way for it to come, but because it's available to all of us at any time. But to pave the way to allow it in. So I mentioned in the e-blast and last week about how I want to tie our Advent topics into the 12 powers here at Unity. And last week was really easy because faith was the topic, and there happens to be such a Unity 12 power of faith. There isn't one for peace specifically. And really any of our 12 powers could be, tied to such a subject. So I sat down and I thought about it for a minute. Again, it's subjective. But I thought about it for a minute. You might find a 12 power that's different that you feel ties in better to peace. And if so, I challenge you to explore that. But I felt one that tied really into the 12 powers for me was release. Because in order to feel peace, in whatever form it comes for you, it often requires release. At least on some level, right? So I don't think I'm like revealing any revelation up here when I say that junk happens in life. And I'm not saying that some of that junk isn't ultimately happening for our highest good. but at least what feels like junk is happening. Maybe we should say it that way, right? We should have community t-shirts made that say junk happens. Josie would have one made that says something different, but we're not going to listen to Josie. I like to give Josie a hard time. But now I think we all know right now that something may very well be happening at any given time that is for our highest good. Yet it doesn't mean it feels like it at the time, right? In fact, it can feel like we're over here. You know, like those mall or amusement park maps that you see, they have the little dot that say you are here. You know, let's say you look at this huge map of life and you see a little dot really far off to the side over here that says you are here. You'll then scan the map for where you need to go, and lo and behold, your highest good is way on the other side of that map. And what can feel even worse is that you look at that map and there's all that stuff in between, right? There's all that stuff in between. You are here in your highest good, and you think, there is absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to cross all of that territory to get from one side to the other. My feet hurt, my back aches, I'm emotionally wiped out. This person made me feel hurt. This one made me feel angry. I'm disappointed in myself. Lots and lots of reasons as to why it might be difficult to get from point A to point B. Yet we might just be looking at the map incorrectly. Because what you're likely thinking is that there is only one way to get from you are here to your highest good. Nobody says you can't hang glide from one side to the other. You might be thinking all you have to do is walk. Well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe you just need to release your fear of the hang glide and allow the wind to carry you. Now that's release. And I'm scared of heights, so I can really talk about fear of a hang glide. But in her book, Adventures in Resilience, Unity Minister Reverend Sharon Connors, she opens her chapter on release with a quote. And this is a quote by an anonymous person. She wasn't sure who said it. But it says quite simply, you've got to stop watering dead plants. And I know several of you who were on the garden team understand that. But what in the heck would we would expect that result to be? If they're dead, they're dead. And the result is likely that they're going to stay that way. They're going to stay, the plants are probably going to stay brown no matter how much we water them. The life is gone from them. We have to finally accept the fact, and I know y'all have heard this saying before, that we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Then we have to release. We have to release trying to get a different result because we're going to leave the room likely feeling very disappointed each time we walk by and look at those plants and expect a different result. And there's just really probably likely not going to be peace found in that. Now, Reverend Sharon also says this. Now, keep in mind that, and I mentioned it briefly earlier, but that the Unity 12 power of release is also referred to as elimination. Sometimes you'll see it as both, sometimes you'll see it as one or the other. But she says, elimination is a spiritual solvent and also acts like spiritual acupuncture in that it opens all the meridians of our being to the free flow of life, love, joy, and peace in the fulfillment of our highest potential. And she goes on to say in a different paragraph, she says, the intentional spiritual practice of releasing what does not serve our well-being is a deep cleanser. As a deep facial cleanser extracts the impurities that clog the pores and age your skin, your spiritual cleanser extracts the impurities that clog the pores of your soul and limit the true freedom to experience unmitigated vitality, optimism, authentic relationship, and let's face it, real happiness. So there are just those times in this life where the things we manifest aren't going to manifest in exactly the way we experience them. Anybody ever have that? But it's not because we manifested it, we practiced the art of, or the tool of manifestation incorrectly. And it's not that we're being punished by some outer angry God somewhere. But let me first ask this. See, normally I start by asking questions at the beginning. This time I'm doing it in the middle. But has anyone in here ever tried to control a result or an outcome down to the smallest, most minute detail? Yeah, I have to. But did you feel any peace when you did that? It felt pretty stressful, didn't it? And probably a whole lot of other things. So let's ask a new question. Has anyone in here ever just said, forget it, when it came down to trying to control the smallest detail, and instead just knew that it would all work out, especially in the way that it needed to work out? How did that feel? Yeah, it felt a lot better, didn't it? So now experience a feeling of peace and practicing release, though. I'm going to impart this wisdom. It's not a one-time dose of medicine that you're going to take once and never have to worry about again. You're going to need to consistently stay on top of it. You're going to have to practice release more than once, and you're going to have to really stay on top of making sure that you're allowing the peace that you are to shine through. Otherwise you're going to look at that map once again and you're going to say, you are here again, and your highest good all the way back over there, no matter how much you hang glided, no matter how much you walked, when your feet hurt, whatever was the case. So what do we do to stay on top of it all? First, let's talk about self-awareness a little bit. Reverend Sharon says to watch your thoughts and release those that are life energy diminishing, unhelpful, and negative. And she says to create 2 to 3 affirmations to fill the vacuum that release creates. It always boils down to those pesky thoughts. Those little things, they just love to rock the boat. And rock the boat they will. But you are going to know, you will know, your body will tell you, your mind will tell you when they are robbing you of your peace. Reverend Sharon mentions life energy diminishing. They're going to make you feel like you have been run over by a Mack truck. You're going to feel completely zapped of your energy. And you're going to know. So I invite you to become very aware of yourself and to check in with yourself. You might have to check in with yourself more often at first, but it will become easier and you'll get more of that self-awareness right away the more you practice it. Check in with yourself and see how you're feeling at different points throughout the day. Because chances are pretty high that if you're feeling as if your energy has been diminished, there's probably an opportunity there to practice release. And once it's released, make room for peace. Affirmations are, of course, a great way to do that. Journaling is a great way. Even just talking to yourself. Talk away. I do it all the time at home in front of Mindy. She's used to it. But reassure yourself that it's okay to not be in control every single moment. The universe knows what you desire, and the universe sees the things that you may not be able to yet see. It can often see that giant hang glider that's just around the corner. The one that maybe the boulder right in front of you is blocking from your view at that time. And Reverend Sharon also mentions this. She says, give your best each day and let go of the outcomes. Live your present moments at your best. So if you're familiar with the Bible, you will probably remember in Matthew 6:27 when Jesus once asked the very important question of, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? He asked this question not because he wanted somebody to try to dissect it and to tell him how. He asked it to drive home a point. The point being that you can't. The best thing we can do is to grab each single present moment and to hold it as tightly as we can. To breathe into that moment and to gloriously live it to its fullest. So last week we talked about faith. We lay that foundation of faith. We laid it. Now we're building up on that foundation. We put into place the walls of peace. And we know that to fully have peace, we also have to practice one of our 12 powers of release or elimination. That release helps us to strengthen that foundation of trust. Because we have faith that no matter what the appearance of something right now, it's all working for and toward our highest good. And in that, we can rest in the peace of assurance, the peace of knowing that it's all working for and toward our highest good. Even the little ice things that are hitting the skylights right now, the little pieces of ice that I hear hitting the skylights. But namaste. And I now invite Kay Fraser up for some more special